Hi everybody, Chuck Parsons, HPC Fire Inspired. I'm coming to you today because I want to talk a little bit about our UGO orifice, or Universal Gas Orifice. We'll go through a little bit, of course, how they work. But more importantly, I do want to reach out to you guys today and kind of clear up some location issues we see with this UGO, mainly pertaining to our uncertified and unassembled kits. Remember, when you're dealing with our certified assembled kits, yeah, the orifice is exactly where it should be. The only thing you should be doing with the UGO on one of those, of course, is just converting gas. But again, when it comes to an uncertified, unassembled kit, some people get confused and they put the orifice in some places that cause a lot of issues. So I'm sure you guys have seen, obviously on our equipment now, we have a 3/4 inch UGO. We have a 1/2 inch as well. And of course that just correlates to the size of our unit, size of our burners, things like that. So this here is the 3/4 inch. I'll go ahead and show that to you. That's a little bit bigger for us. As far as converting the gas, okay, very simple process. Of course, this would be installed underneath of your pan and your burner. Now we are set up for propane. If you look at this now, you'll see that the venturi openings here. So what we'll do with this one is we will convert this to natural gas. All that takes is a 3/32 Allen wrench and a flathead screwdriver. So step one, of course, would be to shut off your gas line if you've got the unit installed. If not, simply loosen this set screw for the collar. Once that's loose, we're going to rotate the collar around, and what we're doing there is covering up the venturi or the primary air openings for propane. Once that collar is turned, we're going to reset that set screw, tighten that down just a little bit. Be careful with how tight you get this. You don't want it too tight because, again, you can kind of pull that collar away from it, and that can cause some leakage. But now you'll also notice that on here we see LP and NG. Well, the orifice is not lined up to natural gas. So step two would be to rotate this orifice to natural gas, and you just converted the gas on the unit. So let's kind of get down to some of the issues we're seeing in the field. A lot of people are taking the UGO from the kit and they're installing it in the wrong location. Okay, this needs to be underneath of the burner, maybe about 2 to 2.5 inches away from the burner. What we see a lot, they'll put it down by the key valve, something like that, and then they'll put an elbow right after this orifice. That causes a lot of operational issues. It can cause back pressure in an LP situation, and of course at that point then you're in kind of a bad situation there by spewing gas everywhere. So you will find this in the unassembled instructions. Of course, that is basically the location where it should be, and of course obviously shows gas flow, the different fittings in there, and how they should be installed into the burner. So from the burner, we'll just work with the 1/2 inch here. What we cannot do is take this UGO and attach it directly into the burner. Okay, that's a no-no. What happens is that gas hits that hub and it doesn't want to flow out through the burner well enough. And of course, if you're on propane, then you end up with that back pressure issue again. Okay, so if you remember, I said we like to see them a couple inches down away from the burner. So in your kit, you will find what we call a closed nipple and a coupling. So that closed nipple goes into the burner now. Then the orifice will go into that. Make sure you've got the righting upright. You don't want to install it backwards. You want to install it properly in the right direction. Get that installed, and that's what you should be looking at underneath of your burner and your pan. Okay. If you have it way down further, even on natural gas, you can run into some gas flow issues through the burner. So again, we want that flow all the way up through up to the orifice. and then actually orifice that gas right before it gets into the burner. That is the proper location where you want to see that UGO. Same thing with the 3/4 inch, okay? And in fact, 3/4 inch, you want to be a little bit more careful because again, you're flowing a lot more gas through the 3/4 inch burners than you are through the 1/2 inch. So with that said, again, no, you don't want to put this down by the key valve. You don't want it in the middle of your valve train up to the burner. You want it exactly a couple of inches down away from the burner. So really no difference than what we did with the 1/2 inch, other than of course this is 3/4. So burner, coupling, or your closed nipple, I'm sorry. Then your coupling, and then of course the UGO. And again, remember writing up all of that good stuff. That'll get your gas flow right. And of course, that's what we want to see on the install. Now, if you are working with a pan with your burner, you really don't have to worry too much about this closed nipple and the coupling, because again, the bottom of your pan should have a hub. And if that is the case, then all you're going to do, the coupling will go on the bottom of the pan, on the hub, and then that'll go right into the orifice again. But again, that's really if you're using a pan on your uncertified matchlets, which many of you are. But again, we will just kind of bypass that closed nipple. So you'll have a hub coming down from the burner. That'll attach to it. And again, that locates your orifice exactly where it needs to be. So again, this is just kind of more of a heads up, guys, kind of a tech tip here. If you've got any other questions or concerns regarding our UGO or any other type of installation, please feel free to give me a call. And thanks for your time today.